evening and thank you for joining us on the news at 8. My name is Joyce Mabika.
And I am Yvonne Mukondani. Susan Masona gives us the bulletin in sign language. These are our headlines tonight. Dinson Iron and Steel Company Value Addition Drive intensifies, aligning with the national vision of industrialization.
In the arts, Zimbabwe to host museums conference in November.
In sport news, Simba Bora in 1-1 draw against Caps United in a Kasolaga PSL match.
We now give you the news in detail. The government's thrust on value addition and beneficiation is taking shape, with Dinson Iron and Steel Company emerging as one of the country's flagship industrial investments, transforming raw minerals into finished steel products locally.
The giant steel producer says its operations are aligned with the national vision of industrialization, import substitution, as well as export-led growth. The details.
Once known largely for exporting raw minerals, Zimbabwe is now intensifying efforts to beneficiate its vast natural resources in line with Vision 2030. At the center of this transformation is Dinson Iron and Steel Company in Manize, Midlands Province, where large-scale steel production is expected to spur downstream industries, create employment and reduce imports. The company is investing in modern technology and infrastructure to ensure Zimbabwe produces finished steel products for both local and export markets.
Started producing pig iron, and then from pig iron, we are now also producing the steel billet. Steel billet is a very important component in the production of steel, which we further value add to produce what we have seen today, the rebars of different sizes, the wire rods of different sizes, and also we are also producing mining mill balls, which are needed by mines.
For communities around the project, the investment is already translating into infrastructure development through housing for displaced communities.
We are building, constructing modern houses for them. And further to that, we are also even electrifying these new houses. Surrounding schools, we are building classroom blocks and also assisting the disadvantaged children.
President Emmerson Mnangagwa has on several occasions reiterated the need for Zimbabwe to stop exporting raw minerals and instead focus on processing and manufacturing finished products locally.
Raw exports is no longer sustainable nor desirable. We must earn more from every ton, every kilogram, and every product we export. The situation where jobs, value, and industrial opportunities are lost is untenable. The value must be created locally and domesticated here in our factories, in our processing plants, innovation hubs, and within communities. In the mining sector, our policy is unequivocal. Zimbabwe is no longer satisfied with being a supplier of raw materials. Under my administration, focus is on local processing, diversifying downstream industries, technology transfer, and stronger linkages across the economy.
The Manize steel plant is expected to significantly contribute to Zimbabwe's industrial growth while positioning the country as a regional steel manufacturing hub. The Second Republic continues to prioritize beneficiation across key sectors, including mining, agriculture, and manufacturing, as part of efforts to maximize export earnings and increase the value derived from the country's resources. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Chirumanzu.
Zimbabwe is targeting a sustainable housing development project as a delegation led by Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga will participate at the 13th session of the World Urban Forum in Baku, Azerbaijan, which opens this Sunday and runs until Thursday, the 22nd of this month.
Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga is this Sunday expected here in Baku, Azerbaijan, for the 13th session of the World Urban Forum, WUF 13, which brings together government leaders, economic decision makers, the civil society, among many other stakeholders, to respond to global challenges in terms of urban housing developments, as well as strengthening housing as the key pillar for inclusive growth.
We are expecting our Honorable Vice President, Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, to come and attend. He's going to attend the World Leaders Summit, which is scheduled for 18 May, together with other, I understand there are 20 heads of states who are coming, so he will be part of that. It's very important that he attends, because this is an organization which looks at human settlements.
As the World Bank classifies Azerbaijan as an upper middle income economy, Zimbabwe is also expected to take advantage of such a milestone by leaning on sustainable modern urban housing developments in line with the National Development Strategy 2 targets on improved housing delivery systems.
We have about 7 municipalities showcasing what we're doing in Zimbabwe, and in doing so, when we discuss, we might find some partners to partner with us in some of our projects in Zimbabwe. So it's really important that the VP is here. It's at a higher level. We are showing the importance of this forum.
The 13th session of the World Urban Forum, whose theme is housing the world safer and resilient cities and communities, is also expected to provide Zimbabwe with an opportunity to get an insight on how other countries are adapting to sustainable housing models for socio-economic development. Stanley James, ZBC News, Baku.
Botswana former President Dr. Festus Mogae has been buried at Phumulo Memorial Park in the capital, Gaborone. Mhlomo Lengcobe, here's that one.
Various leaders and thousands of mourners gathered this morning at the University of Botswana to pay their last tributes during an emotionally charged memorial service for the late former head of state, Dr. Festus Mogae. Former heads of state leaders paid tribute to the late third president of Botswana, whom they described as a pan-African visionary.
President Mogae was a unique person whose life was defined by humility, wisdom, integrity, and unwavering dedication to public service here in Botswana and beyond.
I'm exceedingly honored to pay this tribute on behalf of all the colleagues who served with President Festus Mogae. We gather here today in solemn remembrance of and profound respect for a towering figure of our time.
Today we gather not only to mourn his passing, but to celebrate a life of quiet strength, of wisdom and unwavering service to our beloved nation.
This country is what it is because he loved us. May your hearts be consoled. We return to you the love you gave him and you gave us. We return it to you a millionfold.
Zimbabwe was represented by Vice President Colonel retired Dr. Kembo Mohadi on behalf of President Emmerson Mnangagwa.
The former president, Festus Mogae, was given a dignified send-off. And quite a number of heads of state and former head of states attended this funeral. So it goes to show that he was a man who lived well with other people, who worked well with other people. Hence, he's being remembered for all the good works that he has done for the country, for his country, for the region and the continent at large. So we have missed a statesman. We have really lost a mentor to some of us who knew him personally. So we say, may his soul rest in peace.
The late Dr. Mogae was a renowned economist who championed socio-economic programs which contributed immensely to the Pan-African development discourse. Mhlomo Ncube, ZBC News, Gaborone.
Specialized healthcare services in Zimbabwe are offering a lifeline to thousands of children born with complicated conditions, as some are coming from beyond the country's borders for attention.
For years, Ana Sipho from Mozambique lived through pain, stigma and rejection after giving birth to a baby girl with a cleft lip. Community members accused her of infidelity, while some even advised her husband to leave her. What began as heartbreak and humiliation for Ana Sipho soon became a journey of hope. After failing to get medical assistance in Mozambique's Manica province, she crossed the border into Zimbabwe, carrying her daughter and the hope that her child's life could change for the better. A transformative free surgery conducted at Cure Children's Hospital in Bulawayo changed her daughter's story. Cure Children's Hospital is a specialized health institution established in 2021 under the Second Republic through a public-private partnership with the Ministry of Health and Child Care. Jasiara's story is one among thousands being written at the health institution, where children living with medical conditions such as cleft lip and palate, club foot, bone contractures, and untreated fractures, among others, are receiving specialized orthopedic and plastic surgery.
We don't do emergency work, we do what we call elective work for children who have disabilities, and disabilities that can be treated by either orthopedic or plastic surgeons.
Since opening its doors in 2021, the hospital has become a regional center of excellence, restoring confidence and dignity to children from across Zimbabwe and neighboring countries.
We get patients from as far as Mutare, Chipinge, Matabeleland South, Kariba, everywhere. And we also have patients who come even from other countries, from Botswana. We've had patients from Mozambique.
As government and private sector partnerships continue strengthening specialized healthcare services, institutions such as Cure Children's Hospital are giving thousands of children a second chance at life, one surgery at a time.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, has taken her Duke Initiative to Manicaland Province, a program designed to uphold respect and dignity while reviving cultural values among women. The details.
In a move aimed at restoring dignity among women, the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, took her recently launched First Lady's Duke Drive to Manicaland Province, a program set to uplift thousands of women through the provision of essential clothing items like a duke, wrapper, and undergarments. The oversubscribed event was held at Rowa Primary School in Mutare Rural District. All the 7 districts of the province were represented. The initiative, which places the traditional duke, undergarments and a wrapper at the center of womanhood and respect, is designed to ensure that women are not stripped of their pride. The distribution of dukes, wrappers and undergarments carries a deep cultural meaning, as the items have long been recognized as a symbol of respect, responsibility and dignity in African society. In celebration of Culture Month, the majority of attendees were proudly donning the national fabric. Speaking during the event, Dr. Mnangagwa said the First Lady's Duke Drive was born out of the need to restore and preserve dignity among women, highlighting that it is a priority. She stressed out the significance of such clothing items in the lives of women.
Ndinonzwa kuremekedzwa kukuru uye nemufaro wakawedzerwa kuve nemizuva ranhasi pano munharaunda yeRowa kudunhu rekuno kuManicaland. Ndauya nechirongwa chekukudza vakwegura vedu asi vari vana mbuya vakanga vari ana mai nguva iyoyo, vakaita vana mbuya, vakaita vana tete nguva iyoyo vachikura uye vachikudza mhuri dzavo. Mwedzi uno wakava mwedzi weMother's Day, takava neMother's Day nai. makorokoto evana mai vana mbuya vana mai mose kuti zuva rinonzi Mother's Day totorikurudzira tisu sana mai. Saka mwedzi uno zvakare mwedzi wokucherechedza chivanhu chedu. Saka muchiona kupfeka kwatakaita nhasi mukaona vazhinji tine jira iri reNational Fabric. Mwedzi uno wokuti tiri kucherechedza nekukudziridza kuti isusu tiri anani, tinopfekei, tinodyei. Nhasi ndauya nechipfeko chinonzi dhuku neZambia. Ndinoda kuti titaure zvikuru pamusoro pedhuku neZambia kuti zvinorevei. Kune dzimwe nyika dhuku neZambia chipfeko chavanotopfeka kuenda kumisangano yepamusoro, chipfeko chavanotopfeka vachienda kumichato chaiko. Kana usina dhuku neZambia kumuchato hauende. Zvinoreva kuti dhuku iro neZambia rine huitwa hwarinoitwa kuti rikwane kuti iri ndere kumuchato, iri ndere kumisangano, iri ndere kwakati. Ndozvinoita dzimwe nyika. Isu kuno tinocherechedza Zambia nedhuku. Kuna mai avo vabva zera, avo vakutarisira kuwanikwa, neavo vari muwanano. Hazvinei kuti dzimwe nguva wakazosiyiwa, hazvisizvo zvega zvinokuti uchibvisa, hazvisizvo zvinozoita kuti ubvise dhuku nokuti wakasiyiwa. Zvinopa chimiro chakanaka pana amai. Zvinopa unhu wakanaka kuna amai. Zvinokudzora dhuku neZambia zvoga zviri zviviri, zvinokudzora kuti usaita zvakaipa. Ndinoona mamwe madzimai achasunga mazambia zvese nemusoro panzvimbo dzakaita sepanhamo. Ndauya nhasi kuti tidzokere kuchivanhu chaicho ana mai, timiswe panzvimbo yedu.
The message from the First Lady was clear: dignity must be protected and every woman deserves to stand tall, wrapped in pride and supported with love. Mother Zimbabwe also spoke against social vices among women, men and children. She underscored that bad behavior earns people a bad reputation in the community. During the interactive session, she asked the audience to share some of the nicknames people get because of how they behave.
Anzi kasagi kanogara kari muhapwa teona itemo wakuya temomita
ame mai anozvitorhirepi time yekurya anonga akutoiziya atosvika pamusuwo paanhu apa anozi network booster anobata zvese.
Rimwe izwi rinoshandiswa nderekuti turomire munhu anoremerwa nemashoko.
Rimwe zita ranodudzwa munhu akangwarisa anonzi chenje dama kana kuti mafikezolo. Vanenge vachitaura zvekunzi kuti kungwarisa kwako kwawaita pawasvika apa zvakutoita munhu wakatogarapo kare kare.
Musiya dzasukwa chero akaenda panhamo anosiya zvese zvatoperera, atopedza zvese nemabhonzo acho zvese.
She also rallied young people to prioritize their studies and conduct themselves well. Through another interactive session, she asked the youth what qualities they look for in a prospective life partner.
Anditarisiriwo murume uya anopfeka zvinhu zvakaita semavharuvharu.
Ndinenge ndichidawo kuroorwa nemukomana asikapfekawo madrip, ari kupfekawo mazuwano, majoti, ari kupfekawo nevamwe. Ndinenge ndichitodawo anopfekawo formal.
Handidi mukomana anopfeka chinonzi chidhukureki chakange chibhantana chinoiswa mumusoro, kana mukomana anenge akabhora nzeve oisa mhete sezvinonzi iye mukadzi.
Inini handidiwo mukomana anorukwa musoro. Mukomana anenge akarukwa musoro, dai akarukwa musoro hazvibudi.
Wanopurura mabhurugwa handiwadi, kupfeka 5-5 mukati asikagezwi hatiwadi.
Inini handidi musikana anoti kakashoti kanosvika apa nevhesti rinobudisa mikaka iyi nekugerwa muhuku. Musikana afano gerwa muhuku, musikana anororeka hagerwi muhuku. Musikana akagerwa muhuku ane tindi mumusoro haarorwi.
The First Lady also gave women from the community and different churches a platform to urge their fellows on various issues including cultural values, the importance of consuming traditional dishes, the effects of gender-based violence, and the need to work hard for their families.
Mukundya kwedu mai vari kutidzidzise kubike sadza renjera rakanga risikachandliwi, sadza remhunga ana anga oti mavhu ngekusai kuchaziya, asi mai vadzosere panzvimbo mapfekere edu ekuti tizi munhu kupfeke zviro zvine utsigo kufundiswa ndimai zvesezvo zvakanga zvaakurasika.
Isusu tichikura taiti nguva ino yekupedza kukohwa kwevabereki taienda mukati menzvimbo makohwa muya tichindokwaраkwata, isati kukwarakwata kutsvaga tumagwere twasarira, tichipedza tichitora tichienda kundotengesa, tichikwanisa kutengawo bhutsu kuti tinzi tiri vana mumanharaunda. Zvinhu zvaitibatsira amai, asi pari zvino ukati mwana bata ndiro usuke ita zvakati anongodaidzira kuti kuabhuswa.
Padrug abuse apa vanakomana vanoenda komwa zvinomwiwa zviya vostika 3 days uri mumba akastika ari kungovata kamwana kadoko kaakarooraka kachikupisa kanopedzwa kugadheni imi makastika murimo mumba kachingokuonai mozopedza mozouya kotitongesa nyaya kuti mukadzi wazodai asi ndini mastika vhiki ine handistiki kamwana kadoko akakemakaroora hakastiki.
Dhuku rakakosha vadikani. Kana tichienda kumanhamo zvine chiremera kutaura kuti mai zvine chiremera chekwandiri kuenda, ndiri kuendawo kunhamo. Zvasiyana nekuti ndiri kuendawo kunhamo kuna ari kuchema, ndinoenda ndichiita zvekuteta mawivhi. Misodzi amwe ari kuchema ndiri kuteta mawivhi. Hazvisiri tsika dzechiwanhu dzakanaka. Ndinoda kutaura zvakare kuti madhuku anokosha zvakare. Kamwe apo tinonga tiri kubika chikafu chedu unozoona kuti unongoya zvakanaka auzombopoti uchisarudza kavhudzi mukati mwechikafu.
Evangelist Nelly Gwatidzo hammered on the importance of dressing decently among men and women.
Amai vari kuti kuvasikana vechidiki kushama kusi kuchena. Hauna kundinzwa ndati mai vati mwanangu kushama kusi kuchena. Kana washama usafunga kuti uri kupisa. Uchapedzisira wazotsva iwewe wacho. Nekuti chiri pachena chinetse kutora. Zvinoda kuvharwa ngazvivharwe. Zvinoda kuonekwa ngazvionekwe. Pamunhukadzi zvinhu izvi zvakavanzika. Haikona kuita mukaka unenge wabhokiwa muraini. Unofamba uchionekwa nenyika yese.
In a powerful show of humility and compassion, the First Lady personally handed over the dukes, wrappers and undergarments to women, describing it as a symbol of honor, identity and pride. The initiative went beyond dukes, wrappers and undergarments, as beneficiaries also received blankets to insulate them from the cold weather that is fast approaching. Those in attendance were also given groceries, bringing relief to many families. For the beneficiaries, the gifts represented more than clothing and food, but a restoration of dignity and confidence.
Ndiri kuti Juni la Julai wadziwa tinamai ndatenda.
Akomana we ndiri kuzwe kufarisa chaiko akomana we ndiri kutenda nezvaitika pano.
Dhuku neZambia pamunhukadzi kana pamwanasikana rakanaka kuremeredza mwiri wako, kufukidza mwiri wako zvakanaka. Tinotenda nemagrosari etapuwa, mahamba etapuwa nemabhurangeti. Chando chambotitizawo tapuwa zvokufuka, tinonzwa kufara.
Tinotenda ngezvemwatiitira kutipe zvese zvemwatipa chando akuchina hatichahuti.
Tafara zvikuru pamusoro penyaya dzekutsiudza wana mai baba. Tese tapinda muchikamu chehari yakanaka yekuti munhu azvichengete, vana varegere kumwa mutoriro, vasikana vakure zvakanaka nekubvumwa kutuma.
Expecting mothers were also gifted with new preparation kits, much to their delight.
Ruzwe kufare zvakanyanya nekuti tadzidze zvakawanda muzuva ranhasi kuti tsika nemagariro, saka ndiruzwe kufara nezvetapuwa preparation yekupfekedze wana.
Turunzwa ufara, tapiwa zvinhu zvakanaka kudai naamai. Amai murambe muchitirangarira kudai. Aiwa tinotenda.
The Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Manicaland Province, Advocate Mishek Mugadzi said the Duke Drive program carries immense cultural and spiritual weight.
In our Zimbabwean culture, the dugu is more than a cloth. It is a crown of respect, a symbol of womanhood, and a mark of the dignity that our mothers and sisters carry every day. By bringing this gift to the women of Manicaland, Your Excellency, you are once again demonstrating your commitment to the restoration of the dignity of the Zimbabwean woman.
In a vote of thanks, the Deputy Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Dr. Angeline Gata, said the program is in line with the country's rich cultural values.
Kufunda kwataita zuva ranyamashi kwakakurisa ndiyo yatinoti heritage, ubuntu, who we are, what we are as Zimbabweans. Mai vaenderera mberi vakatironzera kuti madhuku anosiyana ngeoccasion yaunoenda. Kuti uri kuende kurufu ere, uri kuende kumaroro ere, kana kuti uri kuende kumuchato, kana kuti uri kuende kwabarwe mwana, kana kuti uri kuende kumusangano, kana kuti uri kuende kukliniki.
The community held the First Lady's initiative, which directly addresses the everyday realities faced by women, saying the program stands out as a culturally rooted intervention that recognizes womanhood and restores self-worth. The First Lady's Duke Drive, which was launched in Mashonaland Central Province early this month, is expected to be rolled out across the country. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Roa.
A government says financial inclusion remains a strategic objective and a pillar under National Development Strategy 2, guaranteeing every citizen is integrated to participate in the mainstream economy.
The need to empower communities through access to capital hogged the limelight at the launch of a new microfinance institution and digital transactional platform, Token Pay Microfinance in Harare. Guest of honor, Defense Minister Comrade Wapamchinguri Kashiri emphasized that the expansion of accessible financial services aligns directly with the country's financial inclusion policy.
Financial inclusion is an integral part of our national development goal. An upper middle income society is defined by inclusive and broader prosperity. It is one in which the macro, small and medium-sized enterprises have access to affordable funding to scale up their operations.
Government is strengthening focus on financial inclusion, aiming to provide affordable formal financial services benefiting women, youths, and rural populations.
The institution will directly benefit our citizens by extending accessible technology-driven financial services to small business, informal and traders, women and youth, while strengthening resilience across our communities.
Tonight marks more than the launch of a financial institution. It marks the beginning of a vision to empower communities, strengthen village business units, support entrepreneurs, uplift civil servants and informed forces, and create sustainable economic opportunities for ordinary Zimbabweans across the country.
Information Communication Technology, Postal and Courier Services Minister Honorable Tatinda Mavetera noted the importance of leveraging digital technology to provide integrated communication and financial services.
Well done for making sure that you move in line with the President's vision of digitalizing Zimbabwe, of us being able to come up with a lot of fintech solutions which are relevant in this modern day and age.
In terms of banking sector reforms under the National Development Strategy 2 and DS2 Economic Transformation Agenda, government has set a target to raise financial inclusion to over 90% by 2030. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
A motion calling for the country to adopt the national fabric was tabled before Parliament during the National Assembly session this Thursday.
Following the move by Cabinet to wear Zimbabwe's national fabric throughout the Culture Month of May, Member of Parliament for Chibi Central, Honorable Xavier Mawaneke, moved a motion for a national policy that promotes the wearing of national attire as it forms part of national identity.
The adoption of national dress is a symbol of unity and cultural pride. It is a symbol of patriotism. This initiative to adopt national dress reflects a deep-rooted sense of patriotism among citizens. It encourages Zimbabweans to embrace and take pride in their cultural heritage. At its best, it reinforces national security.
Honorable Maoneke further argued that the national dress fosters cultural marketing and promotes local designers and cultural artisans.
Promoting our national dress internationally serves as a marketing tool for Zimbabwe's rich cultural heritage, enhancing its visibility to potential investors and tourists. Highlighting national dress can create economic opportunities through the textile and fashion industries, encouraging local artisans and designers to thrive and expand their businesses.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Advocate Jacob Mudenja, highlighted that the move is a constitutional recognition of culture and heritage.
The question of national identity and sovereignty must be the mark of any nation that is proud of itself.
Debate on the motion is scheduled to continue when Parliament reconvenes on the 2nd of next month. Festus Mgungurutse, SABC News, Harare.
Masvingo Province has welcomed the decision and opportunity granted by President Emmerson Mnangagwa for the province to host the 2027 National Independence celebrations, with the leadership saying preparations are now beginning.
The ZANU-PF Masvingo provincial leadership gathered on Friday for a provincial coordinating committee meeting where they applauded the government's decentralization of national events to promote inclusive development and economic growth across the country.
Tatine nyaya yokuti tionesane se province pa kupiwa kwatakaita kuhosta 2027 independence celebrations yakanziyo na president vedu pamwe chete noutungamiriri hwavo kuti Masvingo ndechahosta mugore 2027. Saka tatichirangana tichionesana uye at the same time tatichitendana nenyaya yekuti Masvingo province yakatsigira zvakanyanya nyaya constitutional bill number 3.
Other party leaders spoke about developments taking place across the province meant to empower communities, calling upon members to participate in unity.
Toda kuti titende President Idi Mnangagwa nechirongwa chavakatipa chemunhu mutapa youth housing scheme. Icho chichange chiri kubenefita mayouth ose mumaprovince edu ese ari 10. Saka kuno kuprovince yeMasvingo takaenda tikanoona zvaitwa nemadevelopers so far zviri kuratidza kuti vave 75% kuti vapedze kusevhisa mastands iwayo. President vaMnangagwa vakati hakuna nzvimbo kana munhu achasarira kumashure.
The province is expected to begin preparations for the 2027 Uhuru celebrations, which are anticipated to bring infrastructural development, investment opportunities, and increased economic activity to Masvingo and surrounding areas. Ms. Martina, ZBC News, Masvingo.
Political analysts say the public consultation process on the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill, which ends early next week, is indicative of Zimbabwe's maturing constitutional democracy.
In a few days, the curtain will come down on the public consultation process over the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill. And all eyes will be on this august house as Zimbabweans await the first reading of the proposed law and the subsequent debates which follow. But before the bill heads for the National Assembly, what do political scholars make of the legislative processes that have taken place so far?
What it shows is that Zimbabwe is riding on a deliberative democracy, and as guided by the Constitution of Zimbabwe, that the Parliament of Zimbabwe should, in terms of promoting democratic consolidation in this country, held public hearings regarding policies as well as the strategies that shape democratic direction in this country. Zimbabweans are coming out airing their voices regarding the CAB 3 issue.
Between the 30th of March and the 2nd of April, Parliament led public hearings across 65 venues in the country's 10 provinces, where Zimbabweans got an opportunity to come out in their numbers and orally air their views over the Constitutional Amendment Number 3 bill.
We have seen all sectors of, or all spheres of human existence participating, the churches, the business people, just general citizens, political parties. And one thing that we wanted to thank the process, it has been peaceful.
Now, a few weeks back, I sat down for an exclusive interview with the Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Minister, Honorable Ziyambi Ziyambi, to get a clearer picture of what comes next after the public consultation process. And he said this.
Once the 90 days have lapsed, which is the week beginning the 18th of May, I will now be in a position to go and formally introduce the bill in the National Assembly and give a notice of presentation of the bill. Thereafter, I will then give my second reading speech. Basically, the second reading speech is when I formally unpack the bill in the National Assembly, explaining the rationale behind the bill, explaining the clauses, and then after that, I will move that the bill will be read the second time, opening up for debate in the National Assembly.
The proposed piece of legislation seeks to, amongst several clauses, extend the electoral cycle from 5 to 7 years, transfer the functions of the Zimbabwe Gender Commission to the Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission, and repeal Section 281, subsection 2 of the Constitution, which states that traditional leaders should not be members of political parties or in any way participate in partisan politics. Panashina Goli, ZBC News, Harare.
For these and more stories in detail, you can visit our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw.
You can also interact with us on various social media platforms. That's Facebook, YouTube, X, as well as our WhatsApp channel. We are ZBC News Online.
And here are stories still to come in this bulletin. In the arts, Zimbabwe to host museums conference in November. And in sport, Zimbabwe are in a 1-1 draw against Caps United in a Kasalaga PSL match.
News at 8 takes a break and we'll be back. Don't go away.
Every day, millions of moments travel through the air. A call home, a payment made, a lesson learned, a life saved. But behind each moment is something steady, something quiet, unseen, unshaken, powering connection, supporting lives. This is Econet Infraco, Zimbabwe's largest private infrastructure group, comprising towers, power, and real estate. We build and operate the essential systems that hold the country together with scale, certainty, and purpose. We bring together 3 powerful engines of progress under one roof. Towers that carry the signal, clean energy that keeps it alive, and foundations that hold it all in one place. Because behind every connection, every transaction, every step forward, there's a quiet force. Econet Infraco, built for resilience, designed for growth.
You're watching News at 8. Thank you for staying with us. The Presidential Fisheries Program has been commended for its positive impact on rural communities by providing sustainable livelihoods and incomes as underlined in the Rural Industrialization Roadmap.
We are here in Ward 24 Manica Bridge, a place that has become the center of a community initiative that has transformed livelihoods through the Presidential Fisheries Scheme. Soon after receiving training on how to manage fish ponds, beneficiaries including the elderly, youths, women and persons with disabilities received fingerlings and feed supplies to start fish production.
Pakauya Presidential Fisheries Scheme ndo patakapiwa mafingerlings tikapuwa zvekuwakisa zvacho ndo kuwaka kwetakaita tikapuwa nechikafu chacho saka izvozvizvi fish dzedu 30,000 dziri mufish pond iyo kozoya 10,000 mufish pond iyi.
Sakutoti tikachengeta mabroilers tikaklina kuzvikwere matoto ehuku aya takutoita tichifidha futi fish. Mvura inenge yabuda yasviba tichiisa imwe yakachena sezvamaona apo kuti mvura iri kutopinda yakachena. Yese inenge yabuda tinenge takudiridza magadheni nemabhanana ari kusimwa ese zvakutotibatsira mukukura kwemabhizinesi edu because takutengesa huku, takutengesa fish, takutengesa mabhanana, takutengesa mavegetables.
The initiative, which will be implemented across all provinces, provides households with a reliable source of income and food.
Project Presidential Fishery Scheme iri pano isusu J5 takaona kuti zvakakosha semuono wemukuru wenyika unotaura kuti nyika inovakwa nevene vayo. President vari kutidzidzisa kushanda nemaoko edu. Saka ndaona zvakakodzera kuti isu sevana veJohn the 5th of Africa International Church tikwanise kufamba province by province tichigadzira mafish pond aya tichichengeta fish.
With a capacity of over 40,000 fish, this project demonstrates that with proper support and shared commitment, rural communities can thrive in line with the National Development Strategy 2. Festus Mkongoro says, ZBC News, Manica Bridge.
A village business unit in Zhishavane has emerged as a transformative force within the community, allowing villagers to earn thousands of dollars from 3 hectares of land. Courage Buse has the details.
The establishment of Mahlava Ungwedza village business unit in Mazua area of Zhishavane district is actively transforming rural lives, shifting farming from subsistence to commercial production and boosting incomes in formerly marginalized communities. Producing crops all year round, food challenges are now a thing of the past for these villagers.
Zviri kutibatsira zvakanyanya nekuti tikatengesa tikuwana mari, tawana mari tinowana mari tinoishandisa mukutenga zvinotibatsira muno mugarden.
Risati ravapo taishayiwa kuti muriwo tingamuwana kupi nokuti garden rakanga risati ragadziriswa ravapo. Mavambe garden richitanga zvazvakatigoshera tinoona kuti zvavane shanduko zvatisumudzira samadzimai anogona kubata ega hatichanetsiwo vana baba kumba kuti toda mari kana ye-school fees.
Area Agriculture Extension Officer Mr. Owen Chikawa applauded the community for embracing the initiative, describing it as a practical model for rural development and grassroots empowerment.
Kuenda na kuenda uku tiri kuda kuti vavandudze homwe yavo vagone kuita yatoti symbiotic relationship vaite maprojects anodyidzana muno mubindu.
The Mahlava Ungwedza village business unit and the solarized bore, which is part of government's rural industrialization, is benefiting more than 80 families. Courage Ushes, ZBC News, Zhishavane.
Matabeleland South Province this Friday concluded the 6th edition of the traditional cookout competition, with the final provincial event being held at Plumtree High School in Mangwe District.
30 contestants from 7 districts in Matabeleland South Province this Friday took part in the traditional cookout competition, as gastronomy continues to be a strategic platform that promotes Zimbabwean cuisine while driving tourism and community development.
Abantu eMath South ngizakuyabamela kuhle sakuyabaphekela konke ukudla kwethu kweMath South sebatshengisa abantu bakhona ukuthi thina iMath South yithi trophy siyabuya la
Samu baby zikonkhuthaza urone ndihani ndichi ta competition yeyo yawubika zikonthusa ngamandla uri ndikwana experience ya uri ndiboneka zvimwe zvithu zvinokuitwa ngabanga mafumakazi uri vakuita mine mukati nehamita yavo
ku advance ngenze into ezidlula khona ukwenzileyo
ipassion kaMai ilayitha yethu ipassion, so ukuba lapha kwami ngibona kumfake kumephu kakhulu and kungikhulise kakhulu ku career yami ngifuna ukuya kiyo.
The First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa's passion for gastronomy continues to inspire communities across the country to rediscover and take pride in Zimbabwe's indigenous foods.
Ukupheka kokudla kwesintu kwenza abantu bathuthuke ngendlela ukuthi kona kumele balime emasimini khona ukudla okuphuma emasimini okuyabe kungela genetic ukwenza ukuthi kona umuntu la aphile isikhathi eside ngoba ikudla okulomsoco.
The traditional cookout competitions have opened doors for many, particularly women, to showcase their culinary talents, revive indigenous knowledge systems, and transform these skills into viable economic opportunities.
Gastronomy is a multi-million-dollar industry globally, and Zimbabwe must rightfully claim its share. The commercialization of food heritage is not about selling our culture, but about asserting ownership of its intrinsic economic value. Our cuisine is rich, authentic, and deeply rooted in our identity.
Gastronomy tourism has become a practical tool for empowering women at grassroots level, with the winners set to represent Matabele South Province at the national final set for the 25th of this month in Kwekwe, Midlands Province. Aifeli Mudau, ZBC News, Mangwe.
Mozambique and Zimbabwe have pledged enhanced collaboration to support peacekeeping missions within the Southern African Development Community SADC region. This emerged at the closing ceremony of the SADC Integrated Mission Planning course held this Friday.
Over 60 participants of the SADC Integrated Mission Planning course in Peace Support Operations graduated this Friday at the SADC Regional Peacekeeping Training Center in the capital. Now, the course, which included uniformed forces from all SADC member states, began on the 4th of May and ran for 2 weeks, with a particular focus being placed on how best the region can maintain peace.
It actually made us to understand the need to analyze the environment, so that you know the situation where conflict has erupted. And we also had to understand what scenario we have to apply, whether it's peace building, peacekeeping, or peace enforcement.
This course intends to enlighten us with the knowledge, skills, and the ability on how best we can plan for any conflict that might arise in African and specifically also in SADC community.
It prepares the multidimensional forces to go to the mission, and then each and every force is going to play their role on that mission.
The ambassador of the Republic of Mozambique to Zimbabwe, who was the guest of honor at the closing ceremony this Friday, said the course was an enabler for wider participation and collaboration across the region.
It is important to all state members to send their soldiers, their police and whatever, to come here to have always training. There are no country which you can develop without peace. Peace, for me, is number one.
The Mozambican top envoy further called on the forces to be ambassadors of peace, applying what they have learned to create a safer and more just world for all. Panasha Nagoli, ZBC News, Harare.
That report taking us to a break. We will be back with more.
Hundreds of battles fought across the continent by the princes of Europe. Astonishing! But history doesn't care who almost won. It only remembers the name on the trophy.
Where does football go from here?
One night to decide it all on the ultimate stage. 30th of May. Stay connected and watch DSTV to catch the UEFA Champions League final. It's on.
Welcome back. Zimbabwe is set to make history as the first African country to host the International Committee for Museums and Collections of Modern Art, with over 350 delegates expected in Harare this November.
The Zimbabwe Pavilion at the 61st Venice Biennale was more than an exhibition space, transforming into a meeting point for global art leaders as Zimbabwe reaffirmed its readiness to host the 58th Simama Annual Conference in Harare from the 20th to the 22nd of November.
Simam brings in more than 350 professionals in the area of galleries and museums all over the world. We want to make Zimbabwe not just host, but raise a new bar in terms of the participation and the showcasing of both modern and contemporary art.
The conference is expected to redefine Zimbabwe's visual arts economy by exposing local artists to international networks and opportunities.
For the first time, it is happening in the African continent, and in this case in Zimbabwe. So for us, it's a very important opportunity to make bridges with the colleagues and professionals of art in the African continent, and also to highlight how they are developing new institutions, new ways of producing culture.
The global gathering is also expected to inspire young creatives and position art as a viable career path.
Simam is going to help us as an exposure to the art industry in the whole world. From each and every corner of Zimbabwe, as you always remember that our president always said, no one should be left behind.
The hosting bid has also received strong backing from international partners and cultural patrons supporting the growth of Zimbabwe's creative industries. Patience Nyagadu, CBC News.
That's our look at the arts. Taking us to a break, we'll be back shortly with sport.
Hundreds of battles fought across the continent by the princes of Europe. But history doesn't care who almost won. It only remembers the name on the trophy.
Where does football go from here?
One night to decide it all on the ultimate stage. 30th of May. Stay connected and watch DSTV to catch the UEFA Champions League final. It's on.
Thank you for staying with us. The Confederation of Southern African Football Associations, COSAFA presidents who are in the country for the Regional Football Body's elective annual General Assembly toured the Geopomona complex this Saturday. The details.
The Geopomona Waste Management site played host this Saturday afternoon to the COSAFA delegation, which is in the country for the elective annual general meeting, which is being held, by the way, for the first time in history here in Zimbabwe. Now, the regional football bosses were particularly impressed by the FIFA-certified pitch which sits on this waste management site, saying this is an interesting development that is taking place in Zimbabwe.
Le plus important, here in Africa, we have talent, okay? But all that we need is this infrastructure. And when we have this, we can improve our football.
C'est un très bon exemple.
It must be inspiration for other countries to do the same, other than working this area that people from football and outside from football, it's a benefit for them.
The South African Football Association President, SAFA, Mr. Danny Jordan, said the Geopomona Waste Management Project is a notable framework which other countries should implement.
Morocco is going to host the World Cup in 2030. One of the major issues in the World Cup is a generation of waste. This project is already positioned, and I hope that Morocco would take note because this is a solution.
They've been reassured that Zimbabwe is indeed on a path of growth from a football perspective. They were surprised to see some of the things that we are working on.
But of course, the visit was not spared a little bit of banter between South Africa and Zimbabwe when SAFA President Danny Jordan and ZIFA President Nqobile Magwizi stood side by side, sharing a little bit of humor over the rivalry.
The benefit for football, hey, but every time we draw Zimbabwe, you want to throw us out of the World Cup. 14 member associations of COSAFA, including 6 council members out of the 30 of FIFA, were here at Geo Pomona with the elective congress set for this Sunday. Panashe Nagoli, ZBC News, Harare.
Simba Bora survived defeat by a whisker after netting a late goal to force a dramatic 1-1 draw against Caps United in a Casablanca Premier League match played at Wazanai Stadium this Saturday.
Shamba erupted in celebration as 17-year-old winger Kosamba announced himself on the big stage with a stoppage time equalizer that snatched a point for Simba Bora in a pulsating encounter. Ironically, in a battle of the Greens, where neither side wore green, the match delivered drama from start to finish with controversial officiating, heated exchanges and moments of brilliance at both ends of the pitch. Referee Nelson Meke found himself at the center of attention after initially awarding Simba Bora a first-half penalty before overturning the decision 2 minutes later following furious protests from Cape United players. But Samba ultimately stole the headlines. Introduced just 5 minutes earlier, the teenage sensation turned the game on its head when he fired past the goalkeeper Wallace Magalani at a near post in the 91st minute to score his maiden top-flight goal and rescue Simba Bora from defeat.
I feel good, I feel great. I'm looking forward to getting more minutes and doing as much as I can to help the team. The coach just put me in, didn't say much, but I knew the goal was to save the team from a defeat from home.
Caps United had looked set for maximum points after Lloyd Njaliwa's spectacular acrobatic finish gave Makebekebe the lead in the first half, beating impressive Simba Bora goalkeeper First Gandani. However, Makebekebe will be worried with conceding at the death twice in succession. Elsewhere, Agama secured their first win of the season after edging FC Hunters 1-0 at Hearts Stadium. FC Platinum defeated Chikenin 1-0 at Mandava Stadium, while struggling Tier 1 suffered a 2-1 home defeat to Manica Diamonds. Defending champions Scotland were held to a goalless draw by ZPC Kariba, while Hard Rock continued their impressive run with a 2-0 away victory to Blaue Chiefs. Lawrence Trusida, ZBC News, Shamba.
Chevron's T20 captain and world #1 all-rounder Skanda Raza was crowned the 2025 Sports Person of the Year at the annual National Sports Awards dinner held in Harare this Friday evening.
The eccentric cricket superstar came full circle on a memorable night after first scooping the Sportsman of the Year award before going on to claim the biggest prize of the evening in a performance that underlined his dominance on the global stage. Raza enjoying a sensational campaign with bat and ball, cementing his place at the summit of the ICC T20 and one-day international all-rounder rankings while continuing to carry Zimbabwe cricket on his shoulders in pressure situations. The Chevron's talisman delivered match-winning knocks, produced crucial breakthroughs, and once again proved to be Zimbabwe's most dependable player across formats as he orchestrated another stellar chapter in his illustrious career. His outstanding exploits also played a pivotal role in helping Zimbabwe secure qualification for the World Cup, with Raza leading from the front a string of commanding performances that inspired the national side. Friday's recognition was the perfect crowning moment for a player who has consistently raised Zimbabwe's flag high on the international stage, with Raza finally converting years of excellence into the country's most prestigious sporting honor.
It is very humbling. I'm very grateful to Allah, to all the people for their prayers, to the organization, to my teammates, to the technical staff, because I know it's just one award, but it represents a whole country, a whole nation, and a whole organization.
Government emphasized its role in sport development. In line with the National Development Strategy #2, sport is recognized as an important enabler of inclusive growth, youth participation, human capital development, and social transformation. The National Development Strategy #2 calls upon sectors of our economy and society to contribute meaningfully to the development of our people. The sport has a clear strategic role to play in that process. Other big winners came from the rugby community, as represented by the Sebos, which was named the Team of the Year, while national coach Peter Bernard walked away as the Coach of the Year. The Junior Sportsperson of the Year gong went to Rovarashi Makunuke and rising triathlon star Zander Botha, who was crowned Junior Sportsman of the Year. Simbarashi Mushai was crowned Sportsman of the Year with a disability, while tennis star Sasha Shmedza was Sportswoman of the Year. Lawrence Truseda, ZBC News, Harare.
Zimbabwean boxer Ndodana Ncube has died. He was 29. The Zimbabwe National Boxing and Wrestling Control Board confirmed his death following complications arising from injuries sustained during a bout in South Africa earlier this year. Popularly known as the Black Hammer, Ncube collapsed shortly after defeating South African boxer Lungas Timela in Mpumalanga before doctors discovered a blood clot in his brain, leading to emergency surgery and weeks in intensive care. The Wangebon fighter had reportedly shown signs of recovery after regaining consciousness, but eventually succumbed to his injuries, plunging the local boxing fraternity into mourning. Ncube fought professionally between 2018 and 2025, recording 10 wins, 8 losses, and 3 draws, with 6 victories coming by knockout. Funeral arrangements will be announced in due course.
May his soul rest in peace. It's now time for the weather report and forecast.
Good evening, Zimbabwe, and thank you for joining us in today's edition of the Weather Report and Forecast. We are expecting a cool Sunday tomorrow, especially in Masvingo, Matabeleland South, and Manicaland provinces. This should be accompanied by cloudy and windy conditions over much of the country. But for this morning, it was cold with some slight ground frost being recorded in Gwanda and surrounding areas. It was clear and cool elsewhere. Though by afternoon, it was partly cloudy and warm over much of the country, becoming cool towards evening due to those cooling southeasterly winds. This is due to a pressure rise over the coast of South Africa. For minimum temperatures tonight, it should be cool over much of the main watershed, a few 11s being recorded in Bulawayo, Gweru, and Harare, into 14 degrees Celsius in Gokwe. Though it should be warmer along the main valleys, Zambezi Valley with 19 in Kariba and 15 in Victoria Falls. For afternoon temperatures tomorrow, it should be mild for much of the day, especially in the south, Chiredzi with 23 degrees Celsius maximum, though a bit warmer in Kariba and in Victoria Falls as well, areas to the northwest. For detailed forecast in Bulawayo, it should be cool in the morning, becoming mild for much of the day. In Matobo, should be cold in the morning as well, becoming mild with mostly cloudy skies and windy conditions. In Gwanda, minimum of 12 and a maximum of 18 degrees Celsius for Sunday, becoming warmer on Monday. In Gweru, it should be cold in the morning, becoming mild for much of the day with some windy conditions as well. In Masvingo, should be cold in the morning, minimum of 12 degrees, becoming mild in the afternoon with a maximum of 19 degrees Celsius. In Mutare, should be cold in the morning as well, becoming warm by afternoon on Sunday. In Nyanga, should be cold in the morning, becoming mild in the afternoon. Remember to carry a jacket for much of this week. In Marondera, should be cold in the morning as well, becoming a bit mild in the afternoon, and these conditions should persist for much of the week. In Harare, it should be mild daytime temperatures with some light winds here and there. In Kadoma, it should be warm for the afternoon on Sunday into Monday as well, and warm for much of the forecast period. In Chinhoyi, it should be mild in the morning, a minimum of 13, becoming warmer by afternoon. In Victoria Falls, it should be warm for much of the forecast period with some light winds here and there. In Lupane, a bit of cloud for tomorrow, cool in the morning, becoming much warmer by afternoon, a maximum of 27 degrees Celsius. In Bindura, should be warm daytime conditions for much of the forecast period with some light winds tomorrow. In Kariba, it should be warm to hot for much of the forecast period into late next week. This has been our weather report and forecast. Thank you for tuning in, and it's back to the main desk.
That's all for tonight. Thank you for giving us your time. Good night.
Good night.